It's time to get on the
Did
right
you
path.
call him right now?
Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action.
He's calling in right now.
Today.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's about as close as I can cut it.
Will put your fears behind you is on the air
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Okay, phone's ringing, but mic's on.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio. 713-785-1817. I don't know why on the Instagram and Twitch and Periscope and all that, why that's not up and going.
He's on.
But Facebook's on, and join live through our call-in hotline, Mr. Ashley Patten, Patten Law Firm. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing good, Tom. Good morning. Thanks for having me, as always.
Absolutely, man. It's great to have you, man. So traffic's a bear. You're calling in instead of being here in person. So I understand that. You know, we're actually shopping for office space again. What I'm realizing is, you know, the energy corridor is a little bit too far west, and so we.
You know, you're right. Where do you think about looking?
You know, we're going to go a little bit closer, no further than Derry Ashford. And I know it sounds like that's not that big of a deal. I tell you where the biggest problem getting to our office is that you either have to go all the way out to Highway 6 and make a U-turn, which a lot of people in Houston apparently don't know how to make U-turns, because instead of turning over into the very first available lane, what they try and do is at the U-turn, they wait until they can cross against all three lanes of traffic, which takes forever, right? And then,
Right.
So either do that or you make a left at Eldridge Parkway. And right now they've closed the right-hand turn lane at Eldridge Parkway and Memorial. And that is just a zoo. And instead of, you know, having police officers that could, you know, help direct traffic in the morning, things like that. Of course, they don't have that. I mean, that you know, because, you know, officers are here to protect and serve. And and little tongue-in-cheek.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
at least you didn't start out a lot of the build-outs.
That's correct. Yeah, and you know, the other thing is there's so many things that happen in the early stages that, you know, they've already switched management companies and leasing companies and all that kind of stuff. And so at the end of the day, a lot of promises were made in order to get us into the building, and then none of those were lived up to. And, yeah, they did some really shady things. So enough about us. Let's talk about you, because you're amazing.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate that.
And I know you're growing. You're up to 8 offices now, and so I'll just share again. So it's the Right Path Real Estate Radio Show, and I'm joined live on the radio with Mr. Ashley Patten. He is the Patten Law Firm and also now Patten Title Company. So it's pattentitle.com, 713-621-5808, 713-621-5808. I know we do a ton of business with you guys. Y'all close a ton of our transactions. Walk me through the process. At what stage, I mean, where are you seeing the biggest growth going? I mean, I know you're seeing growth because you're adding offices, but in terms of retail transactions, commercial transactions, refinance, investors, where are you seeing the biggest volume of business right now?
You know, right now we're seeing a ton of investor deals, and it's, you know, and for the first time, we're seeing a ton of new time, or, you know, a first-time investor business. And so I'm seeing a lot more people getting into the market, you know, which is, you know, quite frankly, it's scary because they are committing every cardinal rule of the investor business. I mean, it's just they don't have their contracts, you know, solid. In fact, there was one contract yesterday, special provisions they put in. If buyer cancels.
Did we lose him? I heard a click. You there?
No, this is Johnny. I was just calling back in.
Hey, Rick.
I'm coming on the second session.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Hey, you're pushing buttons there, and you dropped. You got Johnny, but you dropped Ashley.
I think I'm
Oh, there you go, Ashley. You there? We lost you for a moment.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, I heard Johnny.
Yeah, me too.
I heard Johnny come in. I recognize his voice anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
we got Rick pushing buttons, making it entertaining. All right, so
what's the last thing you heard me say before I got cut off?
so you saw something in special provisions that was a little bit wonky, yeah.
Yeah, so this investor actually put in special provisions that if the buyer cancels for any reason, seller has the right to the earnest money. And by doing that, that's the most backwards thing I've seen, because essentially the seller now has the right to the earnest money if the buyer cancels for any reason. So what's the point in having earnest money deposited at a title company when you when if you have to cancel a contract? Because sometimes you have to cancel a contract, and you always leave yourself an out in case something just doesn't come out right.
Is there a reason for a seller to do something like that?
Well, if I was a seller, I'd want to do that every time.
Right.
But the buyer, buyer beware, because, think about it. If the contract says title companies, they won't release earnest money unless both sides are in agreement.
Right.
And the reason for that is what's known as the interpleader action. And so title company doesn't have to defend a lawsuit if all sides are in agreement. But if title company makes a decision, title company will be liable if the other side was supposed to get the funds. And so obviously when you put it in there in the contract that you don't need a signature for the release.
Yeah. Then the title company's bound by the contract, right?
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And so in this particular case, it was $1 million deal. Buyer wanted to back out, and there was $10,000 earnest money. And, I had to tell the bad news yesterday. It's like, hey, your $10,000 earnest money, you're going to lose it because the contract stated that you were buying the property as is. Now, this particular investor was complaining because they were sure they could have 7 lots on this one little piece of land, but through the density provisions of the city of Houston, apparently they could only get 6 in there, which was about $156,000 difference, which is a lot of money in anybody's world.
Of course, right? Yeah. So so from the investor side, I can tell you about a deal that we did just recently, and we did write in. I don't know that we did it in special provision. I'm trying to remember where we put it, but we recently took a contract on a house, and it's a house that we bought and closed on, and then we knew that it was about 3 weeks before Fast Track could get started on the project because of the size of the scope of work. And I have to say this house is one of the few houses that, although it needed updating, it was almost retail ready for the neighborhood. But so you could put like $70,000 in the house and sell it for $500, or you could sell it for like $350 as is, right? And so we thought, okay,
right,
if we sell it for $350 as is, let's just put it on the market, see what kind of bites we get. And we got a buyer that's a real estate agent that recently went through a divorce, and I'm not going to list the details of names or anything like that, but because he's self-employed, the no W-2 income, it's a lot of 1099 stuff, and so debt to income wasn't great. And we've got a good friend in the mortgage business with Jennifer Hernandez. She said, hey, look, I don't think I can get this guy done. We really did not want to contract this guy, but this guy really believed in himself. He said, hey, look, I've got a lender that I know can get me a loan. And I go, okay, great. Let's talk about that. But here's the thing. If we're going to take the property off the market, then we're going to have holding costs of about $5,000 a month. And between taxes and insurance and utilities and the HOA and all the things that go into that. So if you're asking us to take it off the market for a month, we want $5,000 of non-refundable earnest money. Send it to the title company, but and we'll give you 30 days. So it's like you're betting on yourself, right? Don't ask us to bet on you, because our first inclination is we don't want to contract to you. But if you believe in yourself enough, hey, put your money where your mouth is, right? And it should be non-refundable.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, it's a more attractive offer to any seller.
Absolutely. Yes. So, okay, I want to address one other thing since I've got a couple of minutes left. So, doing business in your name versus someone else's name. Recently had an issue. Somebody else was telling people on phone calls when people would say, hey, what company are you with? Because they're doing outbound telemarketing. Somebody would ask, hey, what company are you with? And they'd say, Houston House Buyers. Now, what's the rules under the state law about doing business in names outside of your own? Are you allowed to do that?
You can go to the county and pay, I think it's $18, and you get a DBA.
Absolutely.
Now, the only one you can't have a DBA for a corporation.
2 minutes.
I don't believe it's well, at least probably 5 years ago you couldn't do it. I don't know if the laws changed. I haven't looked into it in a while, but 5 years ago or 6 years ago, you could not have a DBA for corporation, but you could be an individual and have a DBA for corporate name, but you couldn't have a corporation have another corporate name unless it was registered with Secretary of State. So, as far as that goes, we've had to have people who basically held themselves out as us, as a title company.
Right.
And, there's a title company that, Midland, Texas, or something like that utilize our trademark slogan, Real Title Solutions.
Oh, wow.
And so, if that's happened to you, Tom, you should definitely probably trademark your name.
Right.
And that way, when somebody does that, you can throw a cease and desist letter on them, and if they ever do it again, then they can be
1 minute
severely reprimanded, or at least you have something that shows you can shut them down.
Absolutely. Well, our attorney did draw up a cease and desist, got delivered to him. So they claim that they haven't done it since then. But I don't think a lot of business owners, especially when they get started, things like that, there's also another big brand out there. The Homevestors folks, and they have a particular tagline that they defend vigorously. And it's amazing to me how people will cross that line. And I think oftentimes it's innocent. Other times I think it's more nefarious. We probably know the difference when we meet people like that. So, Ashley, it's been great having you on the show as always. It's pattentitle.com, 713-621-5808. We need to get together and go to lunch again next week.
That sounds good, Tom. Let's do it.
All right, sounds great. All right, love you, brother. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Bye.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund?
Hey,
your
Rick, sorry I
investment
got
property?
you off track.
You purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated.
I know.
over
I came
2,000
in
loans in Texas,
like a house of fire.
$250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source
Rick, you still there?
for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super
Rick, can you hear me?
Networking meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you. Call Houston's leading real estate risk management experts.
Yes.
Benchmark
You're back.
Insurance Group
Can you
of Texas.
call Johnny and have him call in again?
Yep.
I lost him.
281-569-4353. Or online.
Today is not my day.
benchmarkbrokers.com.
You're off a little bit today.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992.
Hey, 1 minute.
Or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992.
You call
or
back
reach
in?
us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
No.
This is Business 1110.
Mike's on. Oh, there he is.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio. We're having an interesting day today. I have to say, I was up late last night. Had the super investor meeting last night, and that was absolutely fantastic. A great event, a great venue. Eddie was bringing it. Hey, and Rick, Mr. Johnny Hayes, Mr. A.K. Johnny Cash, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I'm good. Hey, when you stay up late, which I was up late too, I didn't get home till late after the meeting. Sometimes you may have some technical difficulties the next morning.
Absolutely, right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, yeah.
Hey, it was a great meeting, though. We had a great crowd. I am swamped this morning. All my notes from last night, I filled up 3 pages of people that I've got to get back with today. My loan officers probably have more than I have.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun next 4 or 5 days, making sure we get all these guys in on our Summer Blast promotion. A lot of deals out there people are working on. So,
absolutely.
We're excited.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic. It was except for it was a little warm outside. Inside it was great. It was nice and air conditioned. Outside in the networking area, a little bit warm. The fans made it nice. As the sun went down, though, got a little cooler. It was nice. Great networking. Just incredible the number of people that are doing deals, getting started, taking action. There's a few tire kickers still out there. We're trying to get them to take action, right? What do you see as the number one reason that people are afraid to take action?
Well, if they're new to this business, I don't have a problem with people being cautious.
I agree.
But when you find something where the numbers really work,
yes,
then you got to jump on it.
Absolutely.
And I want to say the majority of the time when a new person gets in this business and he may deal with a few wholesalers or he may deal with something or he finds a deal and he doesn't know how to exactly do it right, he tries to make the numbers work. And then when he talks to somebody that understands it or an expert in the field like me and you,
right.
Well, you're probably more of an expert than me, but we have a lot of experience that does these things, then it makes him skeptical because, is it really a deal? And it takes time before those guys can really find deals.
Right.
Until they get a good network and a good team that they can work with. And once they do that and find that comfort level, it's just a comfort level.
Right.
15 years ago, when I got in this bit, well, it's almost 16 now,
yeah.
I had no idea anything about real estate other than my homes that I've bought,
right.
that I lived in.
Yes.
So, and it just took time, and as each day goes by, and you learn more things like showing up at the Redneck Country Club, getting signed up with Right Path Real Estate for all the classes y'all do, and these events you go to, it's a learning process.
Right, it is. In fact, I was having a conversation last night with somebody that's a retail buyer's agent, and one of the things that I was explaining to them is that it's amazing to me how many it's amazing and yet it's not, because you realize, okay, we do this all the time and they don't, so it's not the knowledge that we have is not necessarily common knowledge, and let's face it, most people buy more cars in their lifetime than they do houses, right? So I find that oftentimes retail buyers want to shop for a house like they would shop for a car. Find the car first. If you're going to shop for a car, go to Texas Direct Auto, go to CarMax if you're going to buy pre-owned, go to a dealership if you're going to buy new. Find the car, find the color, find the interior, find the model, 2-door, 4-door, sports car, truck, whatever. Land on the car that you want, and then once you negotiate the buy on the car, almost everybody gets approved for financing, right? And then the financing happens after you buy the car. But in houses, you better get your financing lined up first. It's different than cars are, and that's why you need to get the ball rolling first with Jet Lending. Go to jetlending.com or info@jetlending.com, 281-872-7800. That's 281-872-7800. So talk a little bit about starting the process. Why is buying a house different than buying a car? Why can't you do the financing after? Why should you do the financing up front?
Well, let's talk investor properties.
Yep.
Okay, that's what we do. That's
Absolutely.
what we specialize in.
Absolutely.
Okay, when you find a deal, you got to jump on it.
Yes.
Okay, those things aren't going to last. It's competitive out there, so that's why we set up. We make it simple for you. We give you a pre-approval letter at no cost. It takes within an hour. If you called me back or shot us an email at info@jetlending and filled out our one little page application, it's about 15 questions. We'll get you back a pre-approval line of credit letter, okay? And then once you find a deal and you give us the information about the property, it may be within 30 minutes. It may be an hour and a half, but that day, we normally get back with you and we'll analyze that deal for you and give you a loan confirmation sheet that tells you, here's what we'll loan you at what rate, here's what our fees will be, here's the estimated title cost, here's what we think ARV is, here's by looking at your pictures and your list of things that need to be done, you should be able to get this done for this repair number, and here's where your loan numbers are. And for what you're buying it at, you may not be bringing any money to closing. If you may be paying a little too much for a flip, you have to have that 30% spread in there. That's our lending limits that our investors give to us. So if you're buying it low enough, you get the benefit of not having to bring anything to closing. If you feel, well, I could still make this deal work, it's near my house, blah, 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 all the excuses everybody tells me, and I go back and I say, hey, the numbers are the numbers. If you want to make a 20% net profit, you better be buying that thing at 65% less repairs, and you can net out probably a 20% net profit. If you're going to pay a little more than that for that, then your profit's going to go down to 18, 15, maybe 10%. But I have investors that sometimes, hey, I know this neighborhood, I'm going to give it a chance, let me learn the business. If they're new people, the first thing I tell them then, hey, get on our fast track program. Our clients are raving about that deal. I explained it last night. We had a client close 2 weeks ago, and he's got a $50-something thousand budget, and Elijah and them are almost done with the property.
In 2 weeks.
I mean, they're on their final draw,
right.
And next week, oh my God, and he's like, thank you so much for convincing me how much more money he will save of holding costs and getting this thing on the market, and it looks awesome. It's going to be one of the top products in the neighborhood, and it will sell before any of his competition in that neighborhood because it was done right.
That's fantastic. Best product, best price makes it move fast, doesn't it? You know, I was talking to a guy at the event last night, and he was talking about he had just put an offer and it got accepted on a flood house. And I said, oh, my gosh, okay, well, I said, what's the ARV? And he says about, I think he said 230. And then I said, what's your rehab budget? And he said, it's about 45. And I said, how many square feet? He said, like 2,700. And I was like, oh, wow. That on the surface, because, I mean, we're running into about 45 to, I said, is it two-story? I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't a one-story house, so it's not. And I said, how much water? And he said, 7 feet. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh. So he said the 230 is a good number based on after post-flood, the houses have been remodeled, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm budgeting about $50 a foot, as a minimum on the flooded floor, and probably $20, $25 a foot. On the
flooded floor.
Yeah, on the flooded floor.
Yeah.
And then probably $20 to $25 a foot on the upstairs, because you got to update the bathroom, all the other stuff too. And he goes, "Oh wow!" And so you start doing the math. On a 2,700 square, that's like $1,350 downstairs, $1,350 upstairs. I mean, now you're really looking at like a $90,000 rehab budget. So you got to.
Hey, and if you don't do that, Tom, he will not sell that house.
No, he won't. That's right. That's exactly.
I'm telling you.
Right.
And so when you're buying, and we tell people especially, there's still a lot of Harvey houses out there that have just been sitting.
Yes.
And now anything about 230 and down. That's a lot less riskier deal because those are still in demand. You get a little higher deal, you better be buying them deep.
Yes.
And if you're not, and as soon as somebody tells me this, they don't like to hear what we say, but I can promise you we're saving them a lot of heartache. They'll get that price.
They'll like you even less if you don't say it. Right. They'll like
oh gosh, I know.
Yeah, it's like if you think you don't like it on the front end, you'll like it even less on the back end if you do it without me telling you this, right? Yeah. If they only knew.
And that's what's.
If they only knew how much you're really trying to help them, right?
Business.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these years is when somebody brings us a deal, we want you to make money off of it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to give you some true numbers. We're not here just to do a loan for you. We're here to help make you successful. And if you're successful, you're going to do a lot more deals with me. And you're going to tell your friends, hey, these guys do it the right way. You get in touch with Jet Lending, and they'll make sure you do these things right. And then down the road, hey, it's worked for us,
one of the things I've been doing in the last 2 or 3 years is studying businesses, and I've recognized that some people look at when you have a customer that it's a transaction, and other people look at through their business that when you have a customer, you're building a relationship. One of the things I love about Jet Lending is y'all are about building the relationship. And so you want the customer to win, because when they win, you win. And that's how I built Fast Track, really, when I first started out, is I realized that, hey, if I had, 50 investors that were doing 10 houses in a year, I'd have 500 houses to do in a year with just 50 customers. And you could build a relationship like that. And in order for them to do 10 houses in a year, they couldn't lose money on their very first one. So I had to start creating systems and processes that help them win every single time. So I love that y'all do business that same way. I want to give out your contact information again. It's jetlending.com. That's jetlending.com, 281-872-7800. Or you can email at info@jetlending.com. That's info@jetlending.com. So anything else you want to add? I know we've got like a minute or so left.
Hey, minute left. Let's not forget anybody that still hadn't signed up for the Chris Voss event coming in October. Seats are going fast. Hey, give me a call, and I'll work them out a deal on getting them in this event.
Yeah, I have to say, you know what? I know that some people look at an event like that because they're used to events coming in from out of town, especially real estate events, something like that, and there'll be like a $99 intro special or something like that. But to get a guy of this caliber, he's never been to Houston before, probably never be in Houston again. What I want to tell our listeners is that, hey, I don't care where you are, you need to get to this event. I read a lot of books. I try and read a book or two a week. So my goal is to read somewhere around 65 or 70 books a year, because I realize that I'll be the exact same person I am today 5 years from now, except for primarily two things. The one, the books that I read, and number two, the people that I meet. And when you stop and think about that you have an opportunity to invest in yourself, and you just have to ask yourself, are you worth a $2,000 investment? And everybody ought to say, heck yeah to that, right? And the skill set that you'll be able to pick up from his negotiating. I've read a lot of negotiating books. I bet I've read 30 different negotiating books. And I have to rank his negotiating book number one of all the books that I've ever read. It is packed full of information.
1 minute.
And you're going to get him live. It's a 2-day event, correct?
2-day event, October 4th and 5th. It's a Friday, Saturday event there at City Center, at the NARS Conference Center.
Yeah, great venue.
And also, after the 2-day event, he will be here live presenting. It will be I'm telling you, negotiating tactics. We're going to be going against each other, and then there's a 12-week follow-up webinar to go over all the specifics. That just to double check to make sure. It doesn't matter if you're in real estate, you're in oil and gas, you're in sales of selling widgets. Come improve yourself and enjoy that 2-week deal and make yourself the best in any industry that you're in right now.
All right, the music says I'm out of time. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thanks,
later.
Tom.
All right, bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mic's on.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio. You know, I feel like I was off my game a little bit at the start of the show. I know it. So normally I like to get here with about 10 minutes to go before the show starts. But I literally walked in, was firing it, got a late start out. I was up late last night, and I'm normally kind of a late night guy anyway. But I'm normally going to bed around 11, something like that. I didn't actually leave the last venue that I went to till about 12:15 last night. Got home about 12:40 after I stopped for gas and all that. So I mean, it's like, wow, what a day. And then I've got closings on properties today. I've got it's a busy day. I mean, I'm excited about all of it. But the main thing is, I want to tell a story that I told on stage last night. You know, I feel like I've been very blessed with all the things and all the people that have helped me along the way, being to achieve the level of success that I've gotten in real estate, through flipping houses, through buy and hold, through wholesaling houses. And I was working out yesterday morning. I'm working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, about 7:20 in the morning. And my trainer said, "Hey, what do you do?" And I said, I'm a real estate investor. I flip houses. I wholesale houses. I do buy and hold." And she said, "Oh, my father-in-law, he'd love to get to know you. He just flipped his first house." And I said, "Okay, well, how'd he do on it? Has he already sold it?" He goes, "Yeah, he sold it." And I said, "Well, he sold it, or he bought the house in Austin. Bought the house, moved into it, did all the work himself." And I go, "Well, it's not exactly how we do it." Now, that is a way to do it, but it's not the way that we do it. And he goes, he probably wouldn't do it that way again. And so yesterday we talked on the radio about wisdom versus experience. And oftentimes wisdom comes from experience. And you can learn from your own experiences, or you can learn from the experiences of others. I've got the experience of flipping over 600 houses, wholesaling a ton, and I've got quite a few buy and hold doors myself, and my goal is to buy 150 buy and hold doors in the next 5 years. I think that the best way to wealth and income in real estate today, because you can make money one way if you flip, another way if you wholesale, and understand those are two separate businesses, and then the third way is that you can make, if you do buy and hold real estate, you can make money in real estate 5 different ways: through appreciation, depreciation, cash flow, equity pay down, and equity capture. Those are the 5 different ways. And we go over all of those on Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. It's a free live webinar that we do. Yes, it's live, not pre-recorded. I know some webinars you see advertisements online. It says, "Oh, it's live right now. Hurry, there's only 7 more minutes to sign up." It's none of that. It's 7 o'clock, no high pressure, but it is chock full of information in terms of what you will learn about how to build wealth and income. What would it mean for your family if you could add $1 million to your net worth in the next 3 to 5 years? 3 years if you've got good skills or you have a little bit of capital. The more capital you have, the faster you can go. We've seen people do it in as little as a year. Yeah, that's right. They had a little bit more capital to start. If you have less capital, and this is a mistake that I see a lot of rookie investors making. They say, "Look, I want to learn how to wholesale because I don't really have the capital right now. What I really want to do is build the wealth and income. I hear your information about wealth and income. through buy and hold. And I believe in it. I buy into it. But, Tom, you say that, hey, if I put $30,000 down, which is 20% on a $150,000 house, and I can leverage that, I'm leveraged 5 to 1. He said, I get that message, but I don't have the $30,000. Guess what? That's a lack of resources. And what I want you to recognize is if you study success, I was sharing this last night. I said, anybody ever heard of Jeff Bezos? And they go, yeah, the name sounds familiar. Like, he started this little company called Amazon. You ever heard of Amazon? He goes, oh, yeah, that's who it is. I go, do you think that Jeff Bezos had all the resources he needed to create Amazon the way that it is today? Well, no. Okay, we ever heard of this guy named Bill Gates? He started this little company called Microsoft. Ever heard of it? Yeah. You think he had all the money and resources he need in order to create Microsoft into what it is today? Well, no. Well, ever heard of Steve Jobs? Yeah, I think he was super wealthy when he started Apple? No. Ever heard of this guy named Michael Dell? He started Dell Computers. Think he was super wealthy? I mean, his family was pretty well off. His dad was a dentist. Graduated from Memorial High School. He was doing okay, but was he, wealthy enough to self-fund Dell into what it is today? Heck no. But they all had resourcefulness. Most people, if you're just looking at the resources you have today, you don't have enough to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be. Very few people have that. But you need to work on the muscle of resourcefulness. And that's one of the things that we talk about at our weekend. It's one of the things that we talk about at our live webinar. You want to tune in to our live webinar, just email support@rightpathrealestate.com. That's support@rightpathrealestate.com and say live webinar in the subject line. We'll send you a link so that you can make sure you can get on the next live webinar, which will be next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. It was a great event last night. We do not have our weekend event this month. We're not doing it in the month of August. There's so many things going on in August. Kids going off to college, kids going to school. I'm loving the Facebook posts, watching people's first day at school. Some of them is truly like kids going off to kindergarten. I remember when my daughter started high school this month. So she's a freshman in high school now. And I remember her first day going off to kindergarten. And what a special time that was. And so we decided, hey, let's take a month off. Let's make sure that we have everybody ready to learn. So our next event's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be in September. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. You don't want to miss that event. If you want to make a real difference, if you don't see currently with what you're doing, because what I can tell you is what you're doing has gotten you what you've got. If you're happy with what you got, keep doing it. If you're not happy with what you've got, then you be willing to do something different. What I can tell you is more millionaires are created through real estate than any other source. So all you have to do is get some very basic questions answered and then get the right mindset. Mindset matters more, I believe, than technique. You can actually start taking action without having all of the answers. You do need to understand a few critical, but they're so small. It's not like you're trying to learn brain surgery. You do not have to learn and learn and learn. You don't have to go get an undergrad degree and then have to go to medical school and then have to do a residency and an internship and a fellowship. And then you don't have to do all those things to be an expert in real estate. In fact, you don't even have to be an expert in order to get started. No one that I know that got started in real estate was an expert before they pulled the trigger on their very first deal. Not one person. And I know quite a few experts in real estate, but not one person I know of was an expert before they got started. It's a little bit like, I love the book, You Can't Learn How to Ride a Bicycle from a Seminar. You can get some basic foundations about real estate from a seminar, but you can't learn all the details until you start doing your first deals. I'll never forget the very first deal that I negotiated on buying a house. I know it was on the east side of town, on the north side of I-10, inside the Beltway. I remember exactly what the house looked like. I remember the story of the girl that we bought it from, and that's literally hundreds and hundreds of houses ago. Start making a difference in other people's lives. I remember more specifically the problem that I was solving for her. I remember the details of the house, but more importantly, I remember the person that we bought it from. I remember the problem that she was facing. I remember how she was stuck, and she didn't know where to turn. And I did pretty well on that deal. In fact, if you start realizing that the role that we perform in real estate, when you're flipping houses, when you're wholesaling houses, when you're creating a buy and hold portfolio, is that you're solving problems for people. And the larger the problems that you can solve for other people, the more skilled you get at solving their problems, the more money you start making. That's what I love about this business. So I was working out yesterday morning, and someone asked me, hey, are you passionate about real estate? And I said, I enjoy real estate, but I can't really say I'm passionate about it. What I'm really passionate about is the people I'm able to help and the difference that I can make in other people's lives. When I can start making a difference in other people's lives, that's what I really get. When I can see someone have hope that they haven't had hope before, see a path to a different way of life than what they've got right now, that's really what gets me jazzed. When you see that light bulb go off, when they have that aha moment, they go, oh my gosh, I can do this. Yes, you can. When that light bulb goes off and go, oh my gosh, I was making this so much harder than what it needed to be. When that light bulb goes off and they say, you know what? I've been working so hard on this part of the problem, on figuring this one thing out. And you know what? That is so minuscule. I've literally seen people work weeks and weeks and weeks trying to figure out the right logo. What I can tell you is the right logo is not what makes people successful in real estate. I've seen people work weeks and weeks and weeks on the right corporate name or getting all their LLC stuff organized. Those are not the things that make you successful in real estate. Is there a time and a place for those things? Yes, there is. It's not before you do your first deal. Very rarely do I see people say, oh, but I want the liability protection of an LLC. And again, I'm not giving legal or tax advice. These are my opinions only. But I see so many people get caught up in building these huge, elaborate legal structures before they ever do their first deal. And it keeps them really busy, but it's not result-producing activities. If you get laser-focused on result-producing activities, it's a little bit like Michael Phelps shopping for swimsuits for hours and hours and hours instead of getting in the pool and swimming. It's like shopping for the right swimsuit's not what's going to do it. He's actually got to get in the pool and swim. He's got to put time in.
2 minutes.
Learning the skill set. It is a skill set that can be learned. It doesn't take that long to learn it. But the key is taking action. I know a lot of people, they have all the potential in the world, but they never take action because of that fear and doubt. And the sad thing for me is when I see people and the dreams that are stolen through fear and doubt. In fact, fear and doubt have killed more dreams than failure ever will. Don't let that be you. Be willing to start taking action. Be willing to surround yourself. Have you ever been in a community where people are action takers? When you see people say, you know what? I've got an idea. I want to execute on it. Let's do it. How do we get this done? When you start saying, how can I? What needs to be done next? Let's solve this problem. In sales, part of Sales 101 is they say, hey, you know what? Selling doesn't really begin until the customer says no. So how many people, when they hear one no, they just quit? They go, oh, okay, I guess that's a no's a no. Oftentimes, people will say no because they don't know what else to say. They don't know the right questions to ask. They don't know what information is. And really what it is, they don't have enough information to say yes or no. I'm not saying that you can turn every no to a yes, but I've played little games with people before. And I want to play this game on the other side of the break. The music says I'm out of time. I'll be right back. Give me 2 or 3 minutes. Stay tuned and play the little game with me.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas.
I think I broke our Instagram output, so sorry guys. We'll get that up and going tomorrow.
They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors
another minute
and
or no?
seasoned professionals. Call 281-872.
Yeah, you do. Have another minute.
Or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at
10
832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mike's on.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I only have a couple of minutes. My name's Tom Perry, host of the Right Path Real Estate Radio Show. Told you before the break I want to play a little game. So here's a little game for you. I'm just going to imagine that you're playing along. So the game goes like this, part of a story. Last month I had a really big month. What I did is I went out and bought a brand new Mercedes SL convertible. Really nice car. It's about a $150,000 car. Pay cash for it. And I want to sell it now. You want to buy it? About 99% of you think $150,000 car, I don't want to drive a car that expensive, I can't afford it, I don't have the money, and without asking any other questions, they say no. What if I said, hey, you know what, here's what's happening. Going through a life situation, going through a divorce, and judge says, got to liquidate all the assets, convert them to cash, and I really don't want her to get anything. So I want to sell it for $5,000. Anybody want to buy that car? All you people that said no, hey, you're already out, right? So isn't it amazing when you add just a little bit more to the story, give a little bit more information, a no can turn to a yes. Now, does it happen every single time? No. I mean, some people don't even have the $5,000. But couldn't you get it? I mean, really? I play the same story talking about $1 million machine shop. Because some people ask my opinion about investing in real estate versus investing in stocks. And one of the things that I ask about is, okay, so if you're looking at stock prices, you look at most stock valuations, one of the valuations that you need to look at is what's the amount of earning. You understand when you're buying stock, you're essentially buying a business. So if you want to buy a machine shop, first off, you have to decide, do I want to own a machine shop, right? Do I like the machine shop business? Some of y'all are anti this or that. I mean, do you want to own a business that's into that, something that you're against? So you first have to look at that. The next is the business profitable. Let's say you got a business makes $1 million a year. Would you pay $1 billion for it? Probably not. You shouldn't, right? But there's some multiple that you could. I had this conversation with a physician yesterday. She was asking me about buying stock versus buying real estate. And I said, hey, you know, you're a physician. You understand that, you know, physician practices are bought and sold, right? She said, yeah. I said, so if you want to, let's say, sell your practice or buy another practice to expand and grow, and instead of growing organically, you want to buy another physician practice, grow even faster, you could do that, right? Yeah. Well, you'd look at how much profit are they making, and are they being run well? Let's say it's making $1 million a year in profit. There's some multiple for that industry that it typically trades at. In the stock market, that's a PE ratio is what we look at. It's the price divided by the earnings. So let's say that the physician's office is making $1 million a year. Would you pay $1 million for it? You get 100% of your money back in a year's time. Yeah, probably do that. What about $2 million? What about $4 million? What about $8 million? When you get to $10 million, you're making 10% on your money, assuming that the practice runs itself. You don't even have to. It's a passive investment for you. Be easier for people to understand a machine shop, probably, because people that aren't doctors kind of count themselves out because they're not doctors. But a machine shop that runs itself, would you buy a machine shop making $1 million a year? Would you pay $1 million for it? Most people would say yes. That's a 100% rate of return on your money. Would you pay $2 million? Yeah, 50% rate of return on your money. Would you pay $4 million, $8 million, $10 million?
2 minutes.
Then I asked people, hey, what's a stock? Name me any stock. I had somebody give me Dow Chemical yesterday. I said, all right, let's look up. I said, hey, Google, what's the price earnings ratio for Dow Chemical? It was 16.67. That means for every $1 million in net profit that the company's making, that the stockholders are paying $16,670,000, way beyond the $10 million that most people back out on buying $1 million net profit business. So why is it just because it's stock somehow it's magically a good deal? And it's not. You actually have to look at the underlying numbers. Nobody would pay $5 million for $1 million house. That'd be ridiculous. You'd be overpaying. Everybody understands that in real estate. In stocks, for whatever reason, they do it anyway. It doesn't make any sense. You have to become financially literate in order to become financially wealthy. And I think one of the easiest way to become financially literate is understanding the process of buying single-family houses. Email support@rightpathrealestate.com. That's support@rightpathrealestate.com. In the subject line, write live webinar. And we will send you a link for next Tuesday's live webinar. So, hope you've enjoyed the show today. In spite of the glitches, guess what? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to solve other people's problems and make a difference in their life. That's really what life is all about. The more you can do that, the more successful you will be. Stop focusing on your own problems. Start focusing on solving other people. I love Zig Ziglar that said, you help enough other people solve their problems, and your life is an automatic. In fact, he said it even better. You help other people get what they want in life. Yours is an automatic. But it's all about solving problems. Most people can't solve their own problems. They need help. If you're there to help, you can make a fabulous living. Thanks for joining me today, guys. It's been Build Your Team Thursday. You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. We love you guys. See you tomorrow.
You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Find Tom at rightpathrealestate.com. You can put the fear behind you and listen every day from 9 to 10 a.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.